How's it going, everyone? This is JL Aviation here, back with another unboxing here, another double unboxing, and this one I'm really excited about. Now, both of these models came in the mail recently, and they're two that I've kind of been hunting down for a while. I found them for a relatively decent price. I mean, both were on eBay, and if you've watched some of my unboxings, that's basically my number one place to find these Gemini Jets models. I've been collecting Gemini Jets, of course, for a lot of years, and my favorite era of their models, I would say a lot of these like 2000s to early 2010s models that they had, a lot of the classic kind of low-cost carriers, some that you don't see anymore, like one of the ones we have here. I personally haven't been a big fan of a lot of their new releases. I feel like their newer releases have been kind of stale for the past year or two, but at least that does motivate me to kind of hunt down some of these older models and, probably spend some money on these instead of on the newer, more expensive models, I would say. And that's why today I'm introducing this wonderful AirTran Boeing 737-700, registered November 330 Alpha Tango, and then the Frontier Jack the Rabbit tail Airbus A319. See the registration later once I unbox it. But yeah, pretty excited for these two. Now the AirTran one, I already have the 717, which I unboxed not too long ago, probably a few months back, that I also found for a really good price on eBay. And this 737, I've also been looking for it. I think the AirTran colors look so good on it. Really excited to have it on my collection. And this Frontier one, now I loved that gray, whole different animal Frontier era livery. And I'll get a bit more into the story of why I think the Rabbit is such a cool one to have, even though I also do have the Puffin livery with these titles as well. So I'm just going to get straight into it. First off, I'm going to do the AirTran one. This one arrived first. So this one has the classic Gemini Jets blue box design. Here's the AirTran titles. 737-700. There's the 1/400 scale, highly collectible on the information. And, for all those of you who know pretty well, AirTran got bought by Southwest back in around 2014, I think was the last year that AirTran flew officially. This was a 2010 release, so they were still their own thing back then. And all of their 737s ended up becoming part of Southwest fleet. Their 717s, on the other hand, became part of Delta's fleet. But that's how Southwest ended up getting their Atlanta base. I'm also going to open this flap so you can read a bit of history about the 737 next-gen aircraft. Then some details on this specific airframe. And here it is, the AirTran 737-700. There we go, awesome. Already loving the colors, that dark green, the blue, the red, just such a nice scheme, and that A on the tail looks fantastic on the winglets too. Give it a closer look in just a bit. Now, and here we have the Frontier Airbus A319. This one has more of a themed box for the airline specifically, like Gemini Jets has done sometimes. So you can see some of the same kind of regulatory things that they have here in the back. Plane's not climbing, but you can just see it from the side. Not sure what the release year was for this one. Here, there's no really story or description, just Frontier Airlines in there. And here is the aircraft in here. There we go. And yeah, this one I've also been hunting it down for a while. Usually resells for a lot, but I thought it was a good price for what I saw it for. So really glad to finally have it, to finally have another classic Frontier. Here we go. Looks awesome. Very great quality. And yeah, look at it more in detail just now with this other AirTran aircraft. Alright, so first off right here we got the AirTran 737-700. Now right off the bat you can see up in the front, right next to the cockpit windows, you have that kind of black marker. Looks pretty unique, pretty cool. You'd see it on most of their 737-700s. Right below, you have the Frontier with part of the number on it. Now that is not the registration, probably part of the aircraft's serial number back there. There you got the AirTran titles, blue logo with the red dot. The AirTran.com here in the engines. And then the winglet, I think the A looks super cool there. Then you can see in the inside of the winglet too, just the blue color, but you can also see AirTran.com. Very nice detail on this for it being a 2010 release. You know, I think by 2015 or 16, that's when they started getting the most detail on these Geminis, but I think that's pretty good for the era that this was released in. Then right there you have the one emergency exit doors and is a 737-700, and then the registration, once again, November 330 Alpha Tango. Then the A on the tail. I think it looks amazing. Really cool stuff. And as you can see, here on the other side looks different, of course, the way that the A points the other way. And also right here under you have the Gemini Jets titles on the green part in there, where you can put the model on a stand if you happen to have one. Some detail on the landing gear, you can see the green dot right there. Very nice details, like I said. And here for the Frontier Jackrabbit livery, and why I mentioned this one's really special, really cool to have. Frontier used to have this series of commercials back in like the 2000s, and as a kid I saw a lot of them on YouTube, and they had like the talking animals, and this was one of the main characters in that series. They had Jack the Rabbit. They had a lot of like funny little gags and jokes that they would do, and this was one of the main characters on it that I would see. So it's really nice to just finally have it, kind of a nice memory relic of that Frontier era, back before they became the ultra low-cost carrier that they are today. Now here have the gray titles, the big Frontier titles. I thought looked super cool, and a whole different animal. Their very unique slogan from back in the day. Then aside from that, the A319, kind of similar to the 737-700, as it has that one emergency exit door in the middle. Then Frontier, you have that box up there. Not for Wi-Fi necessarily, but Frontier did used to have DirecTV on their flights back in the day. It was kind of a pretty big deal for them, especially for that era of airlines pretty much. And the all-green engines, always been a main color for the airline. And now all the way in the back, you have an American flag. They were flag carrier with international flights to some destinations. And then there's the November 940 Foxtrot Romeo registration. There, Jack the Rabbit looks super cute on the tail. And down here, you can see also Gemini Jets logo, where you can put the stand as well. But yeah, super glad to finally have this one. I think it looks amazing. Both of these models look absolutely stunning. Like I said, especially for me, big fan of this like 2000s, 2010s era of airlines, and both of these models are definitely a great addition to the collection. And that's about it for me here today. Let me know for sure in the comments if you have any of these in your collection as well, whether you have any other AirTran or Frontier aircraft as well, whether you're also a big fan of this era of Gemini Jets models as well. Miss a lot of these airlines and liveries. I definitely do for sure, especially Frontier, because I do definitely like that gray title livery a lot more than their new one. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe as well. Stay tuned for more of these unboxings. Definitely want to get a few more of these rare classic models. Always hunting down for them, and if you know of some good place to get some of them as well, be sure to let me know. If you have any recommendations as well for any models you think would fit great in my collection, you can tell me down below as well. Stay tuned. I've got more trip reports coming up soon. Now, I won't be flying too often this year, pretty busy working and studying as well, but hopefully I can get some different type of content out during that time. So just stay tuned for that as well, and make sure to follow me on Instagram as well at JL_aviation_MIA. And have a great rest of your day wherever you're watching from. Peace out.